a lot of people were telling me that Crowny and Nemesis were hate watching. They really, really weren't. They were watching as pro players. They were looking at the game. They were sympathetic to the situation. They were not hate watching at all. Just because what they were watching was ugly.
Every single tournament you entered had drama. Bro, that's true. And I only entered, bro, that's facts. What the f is going on? What's wrong with you? No, but here's the thing though. People side with me every time because I'm not the problem. I'm definitely not the problem. I think the reason why people side with me all the time is because people think that I'm like an easy target. And then when they start beef with me, then other people defend me.
In terms of like building the roster, I do think that the expectations for what this would be was kind of all over the place, because I do think that players believed this is going to be easy. And the truth is, it's like, it's only easy if you put in the effort. And we really, really didn't, right? There was a part of the group that was willing to do more because it was necessary to do more.
Wait, Dom blamed me?
And there was a part of the group that didn't buy into that, right? And that's fine, right? Because everyone came into this with their own personal interest, right? For those who watch scrims, they probably noticed a big shift in terms of how I approached things after we lost the first best of 3, which is quite too late, right? I should have been intense and I should have focused on the job, because that is the content in the end. In the beginning, I let some conversations that I would never let go and continue them in some ways because I perceived it as content. But somewhere along the line, is like, we have to recognize that the content is like the team environment and the purity of it, and us like showing our best. That's what people are interested in, you know? And if you have funny moments because Hamza's a funny guy, that's cool, you know, that's all right. But we played into that a little bit too heavy, you know? Like, I was pulling like 10, 12-hour streams, which is perfectly fine, right? That's okay. But in terms of my personal expectations and how I should approach that, I could have done a better job of finding like a better balance, because I was not so effective as a coach in the beginning. And that's my fault, right? The other side of it, right, is it was extremely difficult to progress because we scrimmed so little. We have one side that is willing to scrim a lot and willing to work, like put in the effort. But
why did you stop playing Draven though? To beat T1 in 3 years.
Some people saw this as an opportunity to just play the games, keep it simple, and just win the games. But the moment we faced resistance and things were getting tense, there is no leverage from my side to press, right? Like I was saying that I'm worried that people are going to leave, because that was like a conversation that was ongoing, you know? It's like the business proposition on our side isn't as lucrative and exciting as the Los Ratones one, right? It definitely isn't. And for us to succeed, everyone has to have the same vision for basically very, very late gratification. We were looking for quick gratification. And that's something that I tried to hammer home in the beginning, that I don't want to create this team just because we want to beat Los Ratones. I want to create this team because I want us to be their own thing. And Dom was a part of that. And of course, Don Jake was also involved in this too. I made this clear. It's like we might, like, if we can't scrim Los Ratones and we don't play against them then it shouldn't be that, you know? And I think for our group, when we didn't get the gratification instantly, where we dropped the game or the scrims were going rough, right? The motivation just disappeared. And the bottom line is, you kind of need to have a group that is excited to do the scrims. You need to have a group that wants to, put effort into the scrims in that way. And keep in mind, this is not me launching like a personal attack on somebody or anything else, right? It's just a question of expectations. And I tried to set those, and I think I could have been a little bit more heavy-handed, but I think it also ties into how you build the team, right? And I think you guys can hint at it already. the team is not going to remain the same. It just ain't. The team is not going to remain the same. If for some reason, like I am a part of the ownership, of the spot together with Dom and with Don Jake. It's like I'm a part of that. But if the roster is the same, I would bow out. I would give up my spot, give up my equity, and just move on. Like I don't think anyone deserves any particular hate. It's like people had their own reasons as to why they were demotivated. I mentioned my own personal mistakes, right? I had a very, very hard time maneuvering around, like finding really strong conviction in draft too, because we had so little scrim data. Like we had to do, like the thing is, it's like we scrimmed so little, and then we also had conflicts, like in the sense that, conflict is the wrong word. It's like, we had, like, let's say one person didn't have electricity, one person can't scrim that day, and then that happened. And then it's like, we scrim only 2 or 3 days, and then on top of that, it's tough, just complications. So I'm working with so limited data, and you have to piece it together. Hums in the beginning, right, was very, very resistant, right, to commentary, and he also played into it, right? He really, really played into it. And I think in the beginning,
what is Hamza was very resistant? What is resistor? What the fuck does that even mean?
And he was very, very resistant, right, to commentary. And he also played into it, right? He really, really played
I don't know what he means by that. Like, was I like defending myself against it or something? I'm confused. Like it didn't affect you? Yeah, it never affected me.
Like I didn't know sometimes if people are like playing things up or if they're not playing things up because I don't know them so well. Right? We had the Gabagee, Gabagoo. If he says Gabagool in the middle of the game and you run it down, like you in the end made that decision, right?
I'm listening to Cole though. If he says Gabagoo, I'm gonna say Gabagee.
That's fine.
You do Gabagee.
But then you can't blame the Gabagee. You can't. Since you want to be hindsight, since you want to bring the Gabagee, now that you want to bring the Gabagee, that's your fault for making the Gabagee. If I do the play, that's your fault.
Slow.
No, you made the play. You told the play, so I did the play. And then don't get mad at me for the play. That's your fault.
Yo, Hamza.
Yo, Liddy, your calls are
Hey, I went off on him. You know what I mean? Like, bro, because like you make the play, so you make the sandwich.
I do think that the relationship between Hums and Leader specifically was something that just drained energy in the end, It definitely like drained energy in the end.
What the fuck did I do?
And I think from outside, I think people mistook like our focus on macro ideas as a way of only pointing blame towards Hums or Haslin. Because the thing is, if we are going to spend time...
Right, I agree. Okay, you guys want drama? I'll give you drama. A lot of the replays and a lot of the scrims were pointed at me and Hustling 95% of the times, but never Perks, never Yonkos, and never Leader.
When Leader was doing macro mistakes or people doing macro mistakes, we called it out, That was the main focus. And that is in no way excusing like individual misplays. It just ain't, right? It just ain't. No, of course we don't have bad feelings towards Jack. No way, of course not. We were very happy to get Hums on board. I was very happy that we got Hums. I think it made things like the silver lining of this is Hums, I think.
What the f does the silver lining mean? What does that mean? Bro, Yamato him and his big words, bro. He's saying you're the mascot. What? An advantage that comes from a difficult or unpleasant situation. Also, because they didn't get Spectra and they got me, it ended up being good. Is that what it means? It means you're one of the good part of the whole thing. Oh, okay. Hey, I'm the silver lining. Hey.
There was definitely like a period there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks where Hums was just like really, 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 really inting. But then he like sat down.
What the Yo, okay, the first 2 weeks, I haven't played for a whole month. I'm getting used to the team environment. I was having a little fun, doing a little inting here, learning the macro, learning that, learning this, and people doubted me, but like, you know what I mean? I was like, you know, give me a new account. Boom. 1 week, 80% win rate, ciao.
He grinded the shit out of the game, and it made such a big difference in his play.
Facts.
Really, really big difference.
Facts.
And this is something that we were pushing on him in the back, you know. Dom did, I did, and he also knew. And then he put in the effort, right? And that effort is rewarded, you know. I already spoke to Hamza, but this off-season for us, I'm going to just work with him. I'm going to work with him, and I'm going to get him up to speed on all the concepts.
He did tell me that. I agreed to it.
I'm going to work super, super closely with him. Hopefully, like, we're going to go to Korea as well.
I can't go to Korea. My visa issue is fucked. If any of y'all know anybody in the UK with the immigration law or immigration lawyer in the UK, hit my line, please. I need help. They just denied my visa. Swear to God. They think I'm a refugee from Lebanon and that I'm seeking asylum in the UK. And they told me if I don't leave in 3 months, that they're gonna deport me back to Lebanon. They deadass think I'm a refugee. Swear to God. Also, some guy messaged me yesterday talking about, yo, you want to marry my sister? She lives in the UK. I can get you a passport. That might be your only shot. No, I want to meet my girl at a coffee shop or something. I gotta meet my girl somewhere in the street. Our eyes cross. I'm like, break my neck for her. Just please don't wear your gi and wipe out in public when you meet her. That's aura though, bro. If I walk around my gi, that's aura. Hold up, let me show you guys. Bro, I be walking around this in public. Like, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Hard, bro. Make-A-Wish Karate Kid. You.
In terms of the players too, like they are also dealing with many, many new elements, you know? They're streaming on Scrim. They're playing a different league. You know, there's many, many new elements for them too. Perks also, right? Playing a new role. There was, you know, there was a lot of elements here that were new to them too. And I think to have understanding for that as well. I think like somewhere along the line, you know, when we had a bad start, it's like I didn't have anything to motivate them with. I really hadn't, you know. I didn't have anything to motivate them with, and it needs to just be internal because there's no money involved. They didn't have better viewership. And the thing is, the gratification comes very late. The gratification would have been us going to the finals. That should have been the gratification. When we realized, oh, that's the cutoff point. You know, we pulled Hassan out of retirement. I think that he was very patient and he wasn't even streaming. I appreciate Hassan super, super much, you know. I think like somewhere along the line, right, it's like Perks lost motivation, right? And, you know, I have understanding for that, you know, because it's like in the end, I think that he had the idea that this would be like easy, right? This would have been easy and he could just like, you know, breeze his way through it. And then when there was like resistance, he just wasn't feeling it. And I get that, you know, from Perks' perspective. I get that, you know, because in the end, it's like Perks had very, very good macro ideas. When the game was in a good state for him, he was carrying the games, guys. He was carrying the games. But like most of his mistakes came from like top lane inexperience. He doesn't have experience in, right? It's like he had never played Camille Garen matchup in his life. And maybe even if he played solo, he wouldn't have played that matchup in his life. Right? Regardless of what top laner it is against, whether it's Mietek or Drutut or Baus, these guys have still put in like 10, 15, 20, 30,000 games into top lane, right? I think Jankos, you know, Jankos as a player, I think he put in a lot of effort. He cares a lot. And I don't think this was like a good environment for what he wants. But I am very aligned with what Jankos wants in the team. Like, I am very, very aligned with what Jankos wants to get out of this team. And that's what we should lean into. I don't mind if we are not the best team in the NLC. I just want the Scrim days to feel rewarding. Yeah, you know? I want to feel like we're getting better. I want to feel like people care. I want to feel like everyone's, like my effort is rewarded, you know? When you have a character that is inexperienced in pro play, you need to have, you know, a very, very mature approach from everybody else, you know? And if you compare it to, for example, Los Ratones, it's like, I'm sure Nemesis and Crowny have moments where they are going insane over what Baus does and Baus says. But, you have to always keep the perspective that you can't take for granted your own experience and then like force that onto other people. Like there's no ill will towards any player, nothing, guys, nothing. I have understanding for what they did and how they approach things, you know. There's a lot of like learnings from the mistakes that we did. A lot of learnings that we can do from the mistakes that we did. And if we don't apply that, I don't want to do this, you know? Because at the end of the day, I feel like effort is wasted, time is wasted, and I could have just taken the approach where I don't do anything and I co-stream and then I just watch the Los Ratones stuff, you know? I watch them, follow them, because that's super interesting to me, you know? That's super, super interesting to me. Can you name some good points about the team to end it on a positive? I do think that like there were moments where things look good, you know? There were definitely moments where things look good. I think there were moments of passion. I think that Hamza is really funny.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to Ignite and checking out some of our other videos. Thank you and take care.